Last week, Stephen Jones addressed the media for the first time this offseason. He talked about the then upcoming NFL Combine, the NFL Draft, free agency, and the current coaching staff. He talked about where he thinks the Cowboys need to do to improve in certain areas this spring, and where they believe their assets will be best allocated. His entire press conference can really be summed up by one phrase, however. One which he used time and time again during that 20-minute media availability. Take the next step for a Dallas Cowboys franchise which has not reached an NFC title game in over 20 years. The next step has been elusive. Finishing out 3 of their last 5 seasons with divisional round losses, and the other 2 without even reaching the postseason, taking the next step has been more of a pipe dream than a reality for the Cowboys as of late. 2018, even as they battled down the stretch to win the division and then a home playoff game, it never really felt like they were close. Did it? Maybe there's some hindsight in that observation, as we now know that C.J. Anderson would embarrass the Cowboys front 7 for 4 quarters, and the Cowboys would find themselves eliminated on the road at Los Angeles on that Saturday night. But, regardless, it felt like a long shot the Cowboys could go into either Los Angeles or New Orleans and win in January. Let's forget feelings, though, and focus on facts. As the Cowboys enter free agency in the coming weeks, and have 6 lottery tickets in the upcoming NFL Draft, every move is supposedly focused on one goal: taking the next step. In other words, the end goal is getting to and winning an NFC title game, and finding themselves back in the Super Bowl for the first time since the 1995 season. By all reports, the first order of business is to take care of their own. They've already brought back longtime tight end Jason Witten, and now plan to pay Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott, and DeMarcus Lawrence. Amari Cooper and Byron Jones are also on that list, but by the sound of things, Lawrence, Prescott, Elliott are the 3 main priorities. Dallas Cowboys running back Ezekiel Elliott takes a handoff from quarterback Dak Prescott in the first quarter against the Philadelphia Eagles. Elliott ran for 151 yards, scored 2 touchdowns, and led his team to a 27-20 victory over the Eagles. Paying a running back elite offensive playmaker money is a dangerous game to play, as is paying a quarterback due to their ever-increasing market value. But Cowboys really have no other choice. These are their guys. They're the leaders, and will be sticking around the Cowboys for the foreseeable future. But if the Cowboys are going to, for the most part, run it back and keep the status quo on their roster, how close are they really to that next step? As good as their defense was in 2018, and as young as they still are, defensive performance is incredibly volatile. As we all saw with Jacksonville last season, team defense varies greatly from year to year and isn't something you can normally bank on going into the season. The most consistent winners in the league can throw the football to win games. Can the Cowboys as currently constructed rely on their passing game at that rate? It's a fair question to ask, but as an optimist, there are certainly factors which point towards the answer trending towards yes. But now, with the drama surrounding DeMarcus Lawrence and the franchise tag, there's even more reason to question what the front office plans on doing this offseason. Dallas wants to bargain shop. They want to improve their roster, but to only do it on their terms. With the new age star in the NFL taking the lead from the NBA and realizing the power they have in these negotiations, this plan likely won't work the same as it has in the past. The Cowboys need to be smart this offseason. Pay Lawrence what he deserves. Don't penny push when it comes to the leaders and best players on your football team. Other free agents will notice, and they will exercise their power accordingly. And if Dallas is serious about wanting to take that next step, getting Lawrence signed should be of the utmost importance. The Dallas Cowboys have a big need at the safety position, and the NFL just happens to have plenty of top free agents available. When free agency begins next week, Dallas will be among the top teams being linked to the likes of Earl Thomas, Landon Collins, Eric Weddle and Tyrann Mathieu among others. However, a report from The Athletic's Calvin Watkins begs to differ. Watkins took to Twitter on Tuesday to report the Cowboys are actually not interested in Earl Thomas or Landon Collins. He also mentioned they're not looking at recently released Eric Weddle. Let's clear this up now. A source tells at The Athletic DFW Cowboys have no interest in Earl Thomas or Landon Collins. The financial price is too steep. This isn't new news. Now Cowboys also have no interest in Eric Weddle either. Price is everything. With Thomas seeking more than $15 million per year, it's only logical to think the Cowboys will have a tough time getting any of these top safeties to wear the star in 2019 and beyond. However, I simply do not buy a report saying the Cowboys aren't interested in these guys. The Cowboys have been trying to get Earl Thomas on their team since last year, when they tried to trade for him with the Seattle Seahawks. For months, we've been hearing about the mutual interest that exists between both parties. The team met with Thomas's agent last week during the NFL scouting combine. Even if it was nothing but an informal meeting, they met. As John Williams put it on Twitter, this is misinformation season. Wasn't it last year when the Cowboys weren't going to spend money in free agency and then went ahead to offer Sammy Watkins big-time money? Haven't we seen enough inaccurate reports this time of the year to know we shouldn't take them as indisputable truths? Now granted, in a bidding war for Earl Thomas, the Cowboys are likely to be on the losing side when the time comes. Teams with a much better cap situation will be in the mix, including the San Francisco 49ers, who have over $67 million available according to Over the Cap. If push comes to shove, Dallas won't be in a comfortable position to offer more than other teams. Not with such a long in-house to-do list of players waiting for big-time extensions. But not being interested is another thing. The Cowboys have a big need at safety and they'll surely look at all their options, including the top free agents in the market. With such a free agent class, waiting until the NFL draft to find a safety would be a huge mistake for Dallas. Without a first-round pick, they'll have fewer chances of properly addressing other positions of need, and frankly, there are very good safeties even after the Tier 1 guys like Thomas and Collins. https://twitter.com/ThomplisAero/status/11029884548608614440. Not to mention, thanks to Xavier Woods' versatility, the Cowboys will have the opportunity to target any safety they want. Woods can play in both safety positions without a problem. With free agency ready to begin next week, I won't be surprised if the safety market takes a while to take off. With so many quality players available, they might wait on each other to set the value for what has been a slow market over the last few years. What I don't expect to see is the Cowboys being uninterested on a player they've been targeting since last season and on other top safeties who would help the defense a ton. The cap space is an issue, but the front office will have ways to work it if they really want to make a run for any of these free agents. Troy Wayritman, USA Today Sports. As free agent news around the NFL slowly speed up while front offices and free agents meet each other in Indianapolis during the scouting combine, the latest on safety Earl Thomas has led many to believe he won't be in the Dallas Cowboys price range. Although Dallas is in a complicated salary cap situation with so many young stars awaiting their respective contract extensions, assuming the Cowboys won't be in the mix to sign Earl Thomas is flat out wrong. The Cowboys have already met with Earl Thomas's agent, although said meeting is said to have been casual, as teams are still not allowed to enter official negotiations with free agents. However, Clarence Hill's report on Thomas wanting to become the highest-paid safety in the league has many ruling out the Cowboys as a potential landing spot for Thomas. Hearing Earl Thomas is looking for $15 million average salary. That might be too much for the Cowboys' liking. First of all, it's worth pointing out that a player naming a price doesn't guarantee he'll get paid what he wants by any team. But let's talk about what Thomas's unwillingness to give a hometown discount means for the Cowboys and their pursuit for the All-Pro safety. You see, I don't believe the story has changed that much due to these reports. Is it really a surprise that Thomas is looking for a top contract? Isn't that what all the drama was about when he was holding out last season? I'd be surprised if the Cowboys front office didn't expect that from Earl Thomas. There are a lot of things to do in the offseason, including signing DeMarcus Lawrence to a well-deserved big-time contract and getting Dak Prescott to a long-term deal. But that doesn't mean the Cowboys won't be able to make enough cap space to go after the guy they have been targeting since last year. There are a handful of players who could be released in order to free up a few millions. Sean Lee is a painful yet viable candidate to give the Cowboys considerable cap savings, as he would earn the team $7 million. Releasing Jeff Heath would give the team another $2.5 million. Dallas Cowboys actually have options to work with, and if they want to pursue Earl Thomas, they should be able to. Bringing Thomas in would take the team's defense one step further and would drastically improve the secondary. With him playing next to Xavier Woods, whose success was apparent in 2018, the Cowboys would have themselves another dynamic duo on defense. The real challenge for the Cowboys will come if a bidding war breaks out between other NFL teams once March comes around. Thomas will surely attract a lot of attention, and for good reason. He's one of the best at his position in the NFL, if not the best. Right now, though, I don't believe Thomas is out of the Cowboys' range. There's reason for their big interest on Thomas, and I'm convinced they knew as well as anybody that he was looking for a top contract. Don't expect them to back down in their pursuit just now. Anyo después de dejar el emparelado por la cabina de ESPN, Monday Night Football, Jason Witten anunció su regreso al equipo que lo seleccionó en el NFL Draft del 2003. Los Dallas Cowboys dieron la inesperada noticia el jueves de esta semana. Es un regreso de sentimientos encontrados, pues tiene tanto aspectos buenos como aspectos malos. Sin embargo, el regreso de una leyenda de la magnitud del futuro miembro del Salón de la Fama es difícil de aceptar sin los brazos abiertos. Witten se retiró tras una decepcionante temporada en 2017 cuando se le presentó la oportunidad de tomar el viejo trabajo de John Gruden como analista de color para ESPN. A diferencia de Tony Romo, Witten recibió muchas críticas por su desempeño en el área a lo largo del 2018. Durante la temporada pasada, Ben Rogers de 105.3 The Fan reportó que Jason Witten había estado muy cerca de hacer su regreso a la NFL en media temporada. Muchos lo descartaron rápidamente, pero hoy todos lo han aceptado y se ha dicho que efectivamente, el regreso del Witten tendrá 37 años de edad cuando comienza la temporada y llega en un momento en el que los Dallas Cowboys tienen una clara necesidad por un tight end para la temporada 2019. Ahora la administración tiene una posición menos por la cual preocuparse cuando comienza la agencia libre y en su momento el NFL Draft. Es importante recordar que cuando Witten se fue, su desempeño no era al measure de su carrera y que no había mucha velocidad de la cual hablar. Pero su regreso al equipo beneficiará mucho a la ofensiva de Dak Prescott y compañía. Es un jugador con manos extremadamente confiables y un excelente objetivo para Dak en terceras oportunidades. Y eso sin mencionar que su pura presencia en el locker room de muchísima importancia para este equipo. Sobre su regreso, Witten mencionó que estaba emocionado por llegar a un equipo con estrellas emergentes y que quería llevarlos al Super Bowl. Lo malo, lamentablemente, por más que la afición de los Cowboys ame idolatra a Jason Witten, es un movimiento con aspectos negativos también. El año pasado, los tight ends Blake Jarwin y Dalton Schultz mostraron un progreso a lo largo de la temporada. Regresar a witten implica frenar un poco ese desarrollo para darle tiempo de juego a un veterano que podría estar en su último año de acción. A pesar de no haber tenido tanta protección en la temporada, se anticipa que la ofensiva de Kellen Moore utiliza más a los tight ends que la de Scott Linehan. Algunos reportes no oficiales indican que Witten estuvo dispuesto a regresar por 25 llegadas por partido, pero ya veremos que tan cierto es eso cuando comience la temporada en septiembre. Yo esperaría que efectivamente, no viemos a un Jason Witten acaparándose del 100% de las llegadas ofensivas. Con un poco más de edad y prospectos jóvenes desarrollándose detrás de él, me parece que los Dallas Cowboys tendrán un comité de tight ends al comenzar la temporada. Lógicamente, Witten sería el titular pero a diferencia de años anteriores, veríamos al resto de los tight ends mucho más involucrados. Witten regresa con un contrato de un año por $3.5 millones que, incluyendo bonos, puede llegar a valer hasta 5. Es una noticia emocionante para los Dallas Cowboys y ver a Jason Witten con el uniforme una vez más es algo que no podemos esperar. Aquí en Inside the Star, los mantendremos actualizados con las noticias más recientes sobre su equipo favorito.